Good morning, students. We already discussed about unification of Italy, the factors hindering unification of Italy, what is nationalism, the starting points, and also the situation of Italy earlier, especially during the time of Napoleon, role of Napoleon in the development of Italian nationalism, his unification efforts, system of unification in the administrative system as well as educational reform. So his role we discussed, and the background inspired by nationalism, the settlement of Vienna, and what happened after the Congress of Vienna. It completely ignored national groups and it opposed unification of effort. So Congress of Vienna divided Italian city states again, and it was Italy different states were dominated by Austria, Spain, France, Pope, and other rulers. And there was nationalist groups, secret societies called Risorgimento. They were for national unification. It was part of national unification movement. The people of Italy were dissatisfied, and they wanted to establish a new constitutional administrative system by overthrowing old monarchy and also foreign domination. Then Carbonari, another nationalist society, and it was also for unification movement. Now let us discuss the leaders of national movement. There are mainly 5 leaders who sacrificed their life for Italian unification. They were Giuseppe Mazzini, Garibaldi, Count Cavour, Charles Albert, King of Sardinia, and his son Victor Emmanuel, later King of Sardinia. So these are the 5 leaders. They worked tirelessly for the unification of Italy. First, let us see about Giuseppe Mazzini. He was a great revolutionary, narrator, and sincere nationalist. He organized a secret society, Young Italy. He had great faith in youth. So below the age of 40, only people, youth were admitted in this group. It was considered as a nationalist group, and he inspired the youth for the unification movement. He was also known as heart of Italian unification movement. He became a spiritual leader of nationalist movement, and he focused his entire efforts for the young, and he had a belief that youth could able to succeed in Italian unification. So he formed a Young Italy movement, and he forced Austria to leave Lombardy and Venetia. He seized control of Rome. He overthrew Pope, and he established a republic for some months. But later, as he faced opposition from the people of Rome, then he was forced to leave it, and he also continued his Italian unification effort. He always stood for Italian unification till the end. Another famous leader was Count Cavour. He was known as Camillo di Cavour. He was considered as the head of the Italian unification. He was appointed as Prime Minister of Sardinia in 1852 by Victor Emmanuel. He was the king of Sardinia and also the son of Charles Albert. Victor Emmanuel was the son of Charles Albert. And Count Cavour was a diplomatic, statesman, and an administrator, a practical-minded person. Was able to establish constitutional monarchy in Sardinia, as well as he wanted to introduce Sardinia as a leader for Italian unification movement. So he completed Italian unification movement through his diplomatic efforts. And Sardinia was earlier ruled by Charles Albert, then later by Victor Emmanuel. Charles Albert also started Italian unification under Sardinia earlier in 1850s, 60s and all. But he got support, but sometimes he, in the middle of the movement, some of the, including Pope and other rulers, they withdraw their support, fearing that they would face Austrian enmity. So that is why Charles Albert was not able to continue his movement, but his son Victor Emmanuel was more powerful than Charles Albert, and he was very diplomatic also. So he was able to get the support of France and England. He strengthened military and industry, and he appointed Count Cavour. So they very diplomatically they strengthened their power, and they were able to overthrow foreign domination. And Count Cavour ran a newspaper called Risorgimento, which means resurrection. We already mentioned Risorgimento was a secret society, and its aim was national unification. And Carbonari was also there, and he was considered as head or brain of Italian unification. Another great person we have to remember, that is Giuseppe Garibaldi. He was not a sword of Italy. He was a very great revolutionary republican, and he formed red shirts. Red shirts by that means they were ready to sacrifice their life. They were ready to sacrifice their blood. So youths were there. They were very systematic, disciplined youths. They trained in military, and they were ready to fight against the enemies of Italy. And he favored a unified Italy led by Sardinia. So Giuseppe Garibaldi formed a red shirt, and he trained them. He himself was a soldier, and they were sacrificed life. They faced several threats and problems during the process of unification. He led war against foreign domination, and he was able to free the kingdom of Naples and Sicily in 1860. So Garibaldi was a military leader who commanded a group, trained them, and was able to overthrow Spanish rule in Italy, and able to defeat them. And he also learned techniques of guerrilla warfare while living in South America. So he was a true revolutionary. Then Count Cavour, already we mentioned, he was Prime Minister of Sardinia, and he was able to get the support of France and Britain as they fought against Russia in the Crimean War. So Cavour supported Britain and France, and got the support in Britain. So that is why this Crimean War is also mentioned. It was happened in 1853 to 1860. That was happened in 1853 to 60. It was mentioned here. He supported, Cavour supported Britain and France. In return, he got the support also. So Italian unification was successful because of the diplomatic efforts. Wars also fought for Italian unification. First one is war with Austria. Sardinia provoked Austria to war, and France helped, Britain helped. Austria was defeated in the war. In the war between Italy and Austria, Austria was defeated. So the states under Austria was unified. States of Lombardy, Venetia, Tuscany, Parma, Modena, all joined Sardinia, and they were able to unify the Lombardy, Venetia, and other parts under Austria. So Austria gets back Venetia after the treaty, but it was happened. And also unifying the south, there was effort to unify southern states of Sicily and Naples. Garibaldi was there. He fought against Spain and released Naples and Sicily. Then Victor Emmanuel, he was king of Sardinia. He was very powerful ruler, and he was able to continue the policies of Italian unification, and through his brilliant statesmanship and military leadership, he was able to continue the unification process, and at last unification moment was completed, and Italy get unified. There are steps in unification. First, we already know Cavour makes an alliance with France against Austria. Then Napoleon III agrees to help them in war against Austria. Napoleon does not favor Italian unification, but hopes to weaken Austria. So Sardinia hopes to get Lombardy and Venetia. France would get Nice and Savoy from Sardinia. So that was agreement. Then Sardinia gained Lombardy, but not Venetia, because France backs out, but still wants payment from Sardinia by signing the Treaty of Villa, France with the Austria. So France changed its strategy. Then other northern Italian states revolted against the rulers. So there was vote to join with Sardinia. So some of the independent states, Modena, Tuscany, Parma, were all joined Sardinia. Then Garibaldi was also there. He liberated kingdom of two Sicilies and Naples by through his war and also marches. 1,000 red shirts were there. Another step is Cavour convinces Garibaldi to give Sicilies to United Italy and under Victor Emmanuel. So, under the effort of Garibaldi, Sicilies were given to Sardinia and it was the part of Italy. So, Venetia is there, Venetia under France and Papal States of Rome under Pope. Venetia added in 1866 when Prussia defeats Austria. So, Prussia helped Italy to get Venetia. That is part of German unification war. Then Rome was also added in 1870 and only the Vatican state and the nearby places were given to Pope and Rome and other states were included in Italy. So by 1870 Italy had added Venetia and Rome, so Italian unification completed. But still, soon after Italian unification, Italy faced several problems as there was differences between rural south and industrialized north. There was cultural differences, economic differences, social differences, and also loyalty to region. Some people or some parts of Italy they supported their rulers, their independent rulers or Pope and all. Some rulers were not were vehemently opposed to their earlier rulers. So there was difference of opinion, as we already mentioned in the part 1 class. There was difference of opinion among the people of Italy regarding their demands also, but that was all solved. And also Italy had other problems regarding economic, weak economy and high taxes was there, corruption was there, and they had no experience with the democracy. There were multiple political parties, so there were threats of foreign countries. So a lot of problems were there. Main challenges they faced is social and economic problems, then regional differences, and the Catholic Church did not recognize Italy as a legitimate nation. Then there was poverty was there, immigration was there, unemployment was rising. So there was a need of reforms. Voting reforms was needed. So there was only by late 1860s most adult male taxpayers only could vote. Women were not given the right. So these were the problems faced by Italy. But Italy has industrialized, particularly in north. The government passed reforms, including laws regarding working hours, prohibiting child labor and all. And government also encouraged transportation system, water system to improve cities, to encourage industry. So a new foreign policy was made in 1882. Italy formed a military alliance with Austria, Hungary and Germany. Italy wanted to strengthen its military, so agreed to defend each other against possible attack, and arrangements, triple alliance, that all led to First World War later, that we can study later. Anyway, Italy tried to build an empire, tried to gain control over countries, other parts. Anyway, Italy, after unification, Italy tried to reform its economy, society, political system, as well as it introduced several reforms, and also it was on the path of empire building. Thank you.